Once again, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. As always, I am Zak, the Corruption Detector, and this is another edition of Red Pill News. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. My friends, the Purge has begun. Massive censorship taking place across multiple platforms, not only Twitter, as thousands of accounts were banished and over 150,000 more were planned to be limited in some fashion or another. Also, the owner of this platform censoring many conservative websites. What that's done is to essentially reveal the existence of a blacklist, which apparently was not in effect. And that means the CEO of the owner of this platform, Sundar Pichai, has lied to Congress under oath. We've got a tweet from my friend Methods exposing Kathy Aru, one of the participants in a lawsuit against several Fox News personalities. Also, we have reports of employees at the Chinese Consulate in Texas burning documents. What is that about? And in a surprising move, Twitter has also banned the use of the Star of David. What's next? The cross? And finally, we have evidence coming out of St. Louis which shows that prosecutors and their employees tampered with Patricia McCloskey's inoperable handgun. We're going to go into all of this and more, so please everyone, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. This right now is usually the time of year we see campers out in full force. National parks should be packed and the travel industry should be booming. But since 2020 has been the type of year no one has ever experienced before, nearly all travel plans had to be canceled. The good news is, though, that lockdowns are starting to lift. People are restarting their camping and travel plans, and if you intend on going outdoors this summer, I want to tell you about a device you're not going to regret having on you. A revolutionary device for campers called the solar water heater. The solar water heater is a portable tube that looks like a normal water bottle, and no electricity required because the solar panels on the side of the water heater ensure that all you need is sunlight to stay charged. It's extremely lightweight, it's only 2.6 pounds, and that can be attached to your backpack pretty easily. The solar water heater will heat and boil water in as little as 30 minutes. It's great for tea, coffee, noodles, cooking rice, and sterilizing water, and it's extremely easy to use. As an added bonus, exclusive for my listeners, they are giving away the next 100 solar water heaters for 15% off. Once the first 100 are sold, they will go back to the regular price. So, as an added bonus, you'll get insured express shipping if you go to solarwaterheater.com or go to the link in the description or pinned comment. Don't wait for a crisis to happen to wish you had a solar water heater. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today we are going to talk about Kathy Aru. Kathy Aru was one of the participants, the other being Jennifer Eckert, who brought a suit against Fox News and several of their conservative commentators. Now, Ed Henry was let go earlier last month, and at the time we did not have any details about why he had been let go, only that there was an unspecified harassment or some type of an assault claim. Now, since that time, this lawsuit has been released, and included in there, among others, are Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. One of those people, Kathy Aru, may be familiar because she was a frequent commentator on Tucker's show. She's also known as the Liberal Sherpa. Now, I have to admit, until this lawsuit came out and I realized what was going on, I thought that Kathy Aru's Liberal Sherpa character was simply that, not a real person, because her views and opinions were just so incredibly out there. Well, it turns out that Kathy Aru is a real person. The Liberal Sherpa is what she identifies as, and from what she is claiming, Tucker Carlson made some inappropriate moves. Now, the claims seem to include Tucker Carlson putting on his jacket after the end of a broadcast and mentioning that he was going to a Christmas party and unfortunately wasn't going to be able to make it home to see his wife and children that night. Now, that's the only thing that she claims that Tucker did. There is nothing including inappropriate touching, no inappropriate text messages or inappropriate harassment, simply Kathy Aru's own insinuation. Now, it would seem strange that Kathy would make these claims because Methods found this tweet from 2019 where Kathy commented in a thread about Tucker Carlson and stated that, yes, Tucker Carlson has always been polite to me. Why would Kathy say this publicly if in fact Kathy had this incredibly terrible experience with Tucker? Now, it goes a little deeper than that. Let's take a look at Kathy's actual profile photos. Now, currently today, it sits with this image of her behind a desk. However, just prior to that, it was a completely different photo altogether. And here is that photo. It was actually a picture of her and Tucker together on the set during a liberal Sherpa segment. And the person who posted this photo says she's so traumatized by Tucker Carlson, yet she still has a shot from an appearance on his show as her Twitter banner. That was on July 20th. Now today it is July 22nd, so in the meantime she has taken that photo down. She appears to have deleted it from Twitter altogether. But I am shocked and amazed that her tweet praising Tucker Carlson and her treatment of her is still available online. I believe that both of these instances call into question the very nature of her claims, and I am looking forward to Tucker having his day in court. Well, my friends, here we go. Twitter has banned thousands of our favorite ANON-related accounts for some reason, but mostly we know it's because they're pro-Trump. Now, on Tuesday, Twitter banned thousands of accounts with 17 related content for some reason. Twitter Safety said it was because these accounts have the potential to lead to offline harm. We're not exactly sure what that means, and they don't offer any examples, but something tells me it might have something to do with the recent dust-up between Christy Teigen and tens of thousands of accounts on Twitter. Now, Twitter Safety went on to say that they will, 1, no longer serve content and accounts based on this content in trends and recommendations, not that they were doing it before. And then it says, number 2, they will work to ensure we're not highlighting this activity in search and conversations, so that means they're going to be censoring them. And then 3rd, they're going to be blocking URLs which are associated with this subject from being shared on Twitter. So think the aggregator sites and something with the 17th letter of the alphabet in the URL. Now, it's not clear what kind of danger Twitter Safety is worried about, but it is clear and well known that supporters of this movement are die-hard supporters of our president. Maybe that's the real danger. Remember, everything is about the election. Now, Engadget, a formerly relevant technology site, said that Twitter is banning thousands of accounts associated with this movement and taking aggressive new steps to limit the spread of this dangerous theory on its platform. The company has already banned 7,000 accounts associated with this theory and has blocked about 150,000 more from appearing in its recommendations, according to NBC News. Now, the company said its actions were in line with its policies barring behavior that has the potential to lead to offline harm, and that proponents of this theory often participate in harassment campaigns and break other rules. Now, I myself have a zero engagement policy. I don't butt heads with people on the left, and I certainly don't butt heads with people who wish to denigrate this movement or the president. And as a result of that, I have never been suspended. I have never had my account limited. And actually, when this article initially came out from NBC News last night, I went and checked and all of my shadow bans were gone. We're going to go there right now because I want to show you guys how to check and see if you yourself are shadow banned, and we'll see if I am still in the clear. All right, so this is the website, shadowban.eu. You put your Twitter name in right there, you click check, and there are multiple different ways that you can be banned. So it shows that your account is in existence, so that's a little bit of sweat off my brow. I have not been deleted yet. Then there is something called a search suggestion ban. That's when you go and search for somebody's account and it will auto-populate. I am not banned in that fashion. Also, if you attempt to search for me, you should be able to find my Twitter profile. Then there's something called a ghost ban. I'm not exactly familiar with what a ghost ban means, but it says here, this is what is referred to as a conventional shadow ban or thread banning as well. And then also there is something called reply deboosting. If Twitter signals determine that an account might engage in harmful behavior, Twitter hides their replies behind a barrier and only loads them when show more replies is clicked. That is something I see all the time on Twitter. I have to specifically let Twitter know that I want to see the content that I'm searching for. So please, I suggest you go ahead and head on over to shadowban.eu, try to do this test right here, and see exactly in what ways you yourself might be banned. Now, after we got the news that Twitter was both deleting and restricting accounts having content related to our favorite ANON and this movement, we received a new post just after noon today, and it is a repost of post 4509, Welcome to the Digital Battlefield, Together We Win. This is from June 24th of this year. Now, I wouldn't normally read through these longer posts that are reposted, but I think it's very important because it gives us a roadmap of how to behave here on out. Like I've said before, Twitter is the battlefield. YouTube is the battlefield. The primary social media platforms are the battlefield. We want to do everything in our power to make sure that we keep our accounts and that we do not lose them. Now, it says you have been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield. That would be Twitter, Facebook, etc. Use other platforms as a form of centralized command and control. So I'm thinking places like Discord, places like Parler. Organize and connect, bridge through linking. Source meme material from Battlefield and or Garage. Highlight and share, take and drop. That means everybody share your stuff. You gotta play nice. Mission 1, dispute, reject propaganda push through posting of research and facts. Mission 2, support role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands, rises. And Mission 3, guide, awaken others through use of facts. I want to be very clear here. Nowhere does it say that in any of these missions we are supposed to rally around and attack people who don't agree with us, or to rally around and attack people who are celebrities and people who might be suspected of doing bad things. Like I said earlier, I think that many of the accounts that got deleted potentially were a part of the attack that took place on a major blue checkmark account. If we do these things and we do them smart and we do them correctly, then we can keep our accounts and we can keep spreading the message. Declass 1 through 99 material and other relevant facts and memes. Decouple MSDNC control of InfoStream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. We need to be able to speak with other people, have cogent and coherent conversations to present our arguments and sway people using them, not by bullying and not by calling people names, not by accusing people of being things. Simply using our intelligence to win them over and bring them to our cause. We need to help people understand just how much they've been lied to. Now, Mission 4, learn use of camouflage digitally. Primary account suspended or terminated, use of secondary. Think about the revelations that the feds were using incorrectly spelled words or substituting a letter or a number in order to get through the FOIA requests. This is the kind of thing we need to do. We can't use the same taglines. We can't use the same hashtags. We have to be creative. Mission 5, identify strengths and weaknesses, personal and designated targets regarding Twitter and Facebook and other. Example, regarding memes, failure to read through use of algorithm. Think Tron. MCP Master Control Program, dependence on person-to-person capture, slow response time, unidentified users. Game theory, information warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together, we win. Now, I know I've said this before, I don't expect all of us to get along with each other. I don't expect all of us to have the exact same viewpoint on things, but by using this strategy here, we can achieve a common goal without having to link arms and go have dinner with each other. All we need to do is support the mission itself. You don't have to like somebody, you don't have to be friends with somebody, but we all want the exact same thing. Freedom, justice, equality, and a return to a single-tiered justice system here in the United States. None of us want to be enslaved. People have different beliefs. Go ahead and believe what you want. As long as your beliefs don't hurt or infringe upon the rights of any other people, then that's your bag. It's not my bag, it's not for me to judge you, and it's not for me to tell you who or what to believe. That's why I never give my opinions on other accounts. I never tell people who I think is trustworthy or who I think you should follow, because I believe it's up to you to use your own discernment to do that. This way, using these missions, following this roadmap from our favorite Anon, I truly believe that we can all keep our accounts and we will be successful come November. Also taking place yesterday, an apparent glitch that affected only conservative websites on the giant mega search platform that starts with a G and owns this platform popped up and revealed the existence of a secret blacklist. Now that revelation proves that the CEO of the mega search giant which owns this platform has in fact lied under oath to Congress. Democracy dies in the darkness. That is one of the funnier catchphrases I've heard coming out of the Washington Post, but here is an excellent example. We've got Uncle Joe Stalin right there, and standing next to him is a lieutenant, someone who he decided to have memory hold, and you can see this is the picture which resulted afterwards. Stalin was famous for this, removing people from history so that it was as if they never existed in the first place. Now, it's clear today that that search giant, Facebook and Twitter, are using their own political blacklists to censor and diminish traffic to prominent conservative publishers and their supporters. If you go to that search giant and search for prominent conservative voices like Mike Cernovich, Joe DeGenova, Jack Posobiec, or Gateway Pundit, you will see hit pieces and biased attacks. And I just want to say it is not limited to those people, although those are some of the louder voices out there. If you search for many other conservative voices, you're going to find the exact same thing. Now, the Gateway Pundit is one of the largest, most accurate, and most influential publishers in the country today, with over 1.3 million daily page views. Back in April of 2019, James O'Keefe and the people at Project Veritas released leaked documents from an insider at that search giant that revealed Gateway Pundit, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Newsbusters, American Thinker, MRC TV, American Lookout, Twitchy, Daily Caller, Natural News, Rebel Media, Life News, BizPack Review, Young Cons, and many others were being targeted, censored, blacklisted, and silenced by that search giant. It doesn't matter if you're pro-Trump or a never-Trumper. As long as you are conservative, you made the Google list. Now, wouldn't it make sense that the search giant is biased against conservatives of all colors and stripes? In December 2019, there was another extensive study published by the Wall Street Journal which confirmed those previous reports. The search giant censors and blacklists conservative content. Now, Gizmodo, another formerly relevant tech site, said that that search giant has long stated that it does not use human curation to collect or arrange the results on a page. But a Wall Street Journal investigation found that the company does interfere with search results more than it cares to admit. Now, the report from the Wall Street Journal is lengthy. It spans over 100 interviews, as well as an independent test of the algorithm on that search giant versus such rivals as Bing and DuckDuckGo. And you can read the methodology in the pinned comment below this report. Now, the general gist is that in recent years, that search giant has shifted from a hands-off, the algorithm knows best culture to one that takes a more active role in deciding how information appears to users. And overall, the report found that that search engine has made 3,200 changes to its algorithms in 2018. For context, it made 2,400 in 2017 and 500 in 2010, so clearly they are escalating the way that they deliver information. Now, the Daily Mail also concluded its own study, and of course, the Gateway Pundit is a top target of the tech giants due to the prominence and success of the website. Now, the Daily Mail also reported that conservative publications have been blacklisted in Google News and said that it had seen documents to support this claim, which is fueling cries of political bias. It's all about the election. Right-wing websites like the Gateway Pundit and the United West included on a list of hundreds of websites that would not appear in Google News or feature topics, although they could appear in organic search results. Well, on Tuesday morning, it appeared that the organic search results were now also blocking them as well. They received numerous emails and comments from readers that the search giant had deleted the Gateway Pundit from its results. Sure enough, if you search the term Gateway Pundit, you will only see hit pieces and links to attack websites, including Wikipedia. Now, it looks like we did get Jim Hoff's account popping up in Twitter because he is one of the founders of Gateway Pundit, but you can see these articles are all simply just attack pieces. Here is page 2 of those search results, and it is all the exact same thing. Page 3, again, the exact same thing. There was not a single link to the Gateway Pundit in its first 3 pages of search results on the Gateway Pundit. Now, the Gateway Pundit also investigated and found that they were not alone. They did this with most conservative websites, including Breitbart, the National Pulse, and the Daily Caller. Now, later on, the search giant responded, calling it a technical issue after they got caught, but it appeared the glitch only affected conservative websites. That is quite a glitch. Back in 2018, the CEO, Sundar Pichai, testified before Congress that the search engine does not manually intervene in search results. Well, we have now proven that that is a lie. It was a complete lie, but of course, Sundar Pichai got away with it. On Tuesday, a former engineer for the search giant told Mediaite that they may have a conservative blacklist. The Daily Mail, investigating the story again, found that they may in fact have that secret blacklist of conservative news sites based on the report that that former engineer has claimed. claimed, which he says was exposed on Tuesday when those websites briefly vanished from the search results. Mike Wacker is the name of the former engineer, and he himself was fired back in 2019 due to his conservative ideology. And he said it appears to have revealed the existence of another blacklist that disproportionately targets conservatives. The glitch is that sites on this blacklist disappeared from search results, but the existence of the list is very much by design, and that raises a major question. Why was this blacklist created in the first place, and what else is it used for? Legacy media outlets, including New York Times and Washington Post, did not appear to be harmed. I'm sure you'll all remember Dr. Robert Epstein. He's a researcher who has argued that the search engine has the power to sway up to 10% of American voters in the 2020 election, and he agreed with Wacker. He said it's likely that a person or algorithm at Google added Breitbart.com and other URLs to one or more of the company's blacklists. It really is incredible that Gateway Pundit's website continues to grow its audience year after year, despite the constant onslaught by the left to disappear and destroy them. And I have to say, the same is true for myself and for many other conservative commentators on this platform. Despite the fact that you can't find my videos even though you're subscribed, despite the fact that you have notifications turned on and the videos are not delivered, despite the fact that you can only find me by going directly to the link on this platform, my subscription base continues to grow. People continue to be hungry for actual, true information. And I promise to you, my friends, as long as they allow me to stay on this platform, I will continue to give you the real news. If you want to find other ways to locate me on the internet, you can always go to the description in every single video. I have many other profiles on different platforms. I urge you, please go and find me there. Subscribe to me as well, because if something happens now on this platform, I will be going to those other ones. Thank you very much to all of you for your daily support. And one more note on additional censorship taking place on Twitter. Many users yesterday discovered that if they had used the Star of David as their profile picture, their account had been locked. And specifically, it was for violating rules against posting hateful imagery. This is kind of a shocking thing, and that's why I said in the intro, what's next? The cross. It seems like they are specifically narrowing it down to a set of ideas and values that you are allowed to post on Twitter. And certainly if you have Judeo-Christian beliefs, you are not among those who are allowed to express yourselves. Also taking place yesterday, fire and police responders were called in after reports of documents being burned at the Consulate General of China in Texas. Now, Houston police and fire were at the Consulate General of China, responding to reports that documents were being burned in the courtyard. The Houston police began receiving reports of documents being burned just after 8 p.m. local time at the consulate. The police were not allowed to enter the building and were told that the Chinese occupants are being evicted from the building on Friday. A video taken by a witness shows the papers being burned, and it said that a small amount of smoke could be seen and smelled from outside, and dozens of Houston first responders were at the scene. Now, the Houston Chronicle reported that at least 5 fire engines were on the scene, and firefighters looked down at the fire from the ladders. It was unclear by their press time if they had been allowed to enter the property. This is a developing story. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't watch the video, but I want to remind everybody about the report that I gave just a couple of days ago about the rising tensions between China and the United States. If Chinese consulates are being evicted from not only Texas, but perhaps across the entire United States, what does that mean for relations between our two countries? The eviction of consulate generals from inside our borders does not bode well for peaceful relations between our two countries. Now, we know very well the motives and intentions of the government of the Chinese people, the CCP. Clearly, they are interested in nothing besides world domination. And if the United States government is keen on making sure that that doesn't happen, evicting the Chinese consulate generals from United States property is a first step that is going to take place necessarily. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video. All right, so this is a report from Intel.wave, and it says video sent in by a KPRC Houston News viewer shows the fires in the courtyard of the Chinese consulate. Let's go ahead and watch. It looks like they are burning everything. I'd be very interested to know if this is the only Chinese consulate inside the United States that is being evicted, but it stands to reason that if this one is going, then probably all of the rest of them are going as well. Generally, this is the kind of thing that you see when a government leaves a consulate, because they have all kinds of classified documents inside there that they need to burn so that the incoming government does not get their hands on it. I can only imagine how much intel and information about the Chinese government's plans to take over America are inside that consulate. This is a shocking development, and I think we should probably keep our eyes in the South China Sea and also keep an eye on what's going on throughout the rest of the world with Chinese-American relations. Well, so far it appears that the eviction of Chinese consulates is at this time only taking place here in Houston, and it looks like this is in response to the stealing of intellectual property by the CCP from America, and most likely other places as well. Keep in mind, we just had 2 Chinese nationals indicted yesterday for theft of intellectual property having to do with CV19 vaccines, and of course there is an untold amount of technology that has been stolen over the years, and then they in turn develop something cheaper and not necessarily better, but sell it back to us. Now, the U.S. said early this morning that they have ordered China to close its consulate in Houston to protect American intellectual property and the private information of Americans. Remembering the Chinese CCP hacked into one of the largest credit reporting bureaus, having essentially all of the data of American adults stolen and now in the hands of the Chinese government. Of course, China is condemning the move, and it's the latest in a series of steps by President Trump and his administration as it ratchets up pressure on the world's second largest economy over trade, technology, human rights, and security. Human rights, quite honestly, being the largest among those, in my opinion. Now, the firefighters that responded yesterday said papers were being burned on the grounds and into the night, but of course they were barred entry. But here is another image of that response right there. In the brief statement from the United States, they said the United States will not tolerate China's violation of our sovereignty and intimidation of our people, just as we have not tolerated its unfair trade practices, theft of American jobs, and other egregious behavior. Now, that was from the State Department, of course. China responded by saying the unilateral closure of China's consulate general in Houston within a short period of time is an unprecedented escalation of its recent actions against China. They warned of firm countermeasures if the U.S. does not reverse itself. Besides its embassy in Beijing, the U.S. has 5 consulates in mainland China. They are in Shanghai, Guangzhou, Chengdu, Wuhan, and Shenyang. Guangzhou, that one sounds familiar. Houston media reports said authorities responded to reports of a fire at the consulate, and witnesses said that people were burning paper in what appeared to be trash cans. Now, the occupants were given until 4 p.m. Friday to leave the property, so it's no wonder that they're burning everything in such a hurry. Now, one of the representatives of China has accused the U.S. of opening Chinese diplomatic pouches without permission multiple times, confiscating Chinese items for official use, and imposing restrictions on Chinese diplomats in the U.S. last October and again this June. He also said that U.S. diplomats in China engage in infiltration activities. If we compare the two, it is only too evident which is engaged in interference, infiltration, and confrontation. That sounds like projection to me. He also said that the Chinese embassy in Washington has received bomb and death threats and accused the U.S. government of fanning hatred against China. That could not be farther from the truth. I think that it's clear the United States government has done everything within their power to give China the time to capitulate and respond to all of our requests and now demands. Unfortunately, China does not want to be on a level playing field. They want to cheat, so until they want to play fair, it looks like you guys are going to have to find another country to fleece. All right, guys, well, that is all that I have for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am Zak the Corruption Detector, and this was another edition of Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, one more thing. I just want to thank everyone for watching today. If you have not subscribed yet, I urge you to please consider subscribing. There will be a couple of videos that pop up if you want to continue to watch. There's also some ways in the description of this video that you can follow me on other platforms. Please consider doing that as well. And if you want to support the program directly, there are means to do that below as well. Thank you all for your support over the last couple of years. Consider liking and sharing this video and help me get the real news to people who don't yet know they've been lied to.